What is going on, you guys? In today's video, Haley and Mose and I will be answering, I think it's 20 or 21 questions that I posted. I posted on Instagram the other day asking you guys to ask questions that you want us to answer. And so I picked 20 or 21 of the most interesting ones, things that we haven't already answered like 1,000 times on previous videos. And that's what today's video will be about.
What's first?
All right, first is Haley an employee or a business partner?
I'm gonna let you answer that one.
I'm gonna say that Haley is the boss, basically. Like when she quit her job and started working with us full time, it took her maybe like a couple weeks to just like get the hang of things, like learn shipping and like
Yeah,
learn
I mean,
listing.
you've had an established business for like 2 years, so kind of jumping into that. I don't know. It took a lot of like getting used to, like seeing how Josh did things, and then how I could contribute
and make them better.
Yeah,
like,
well,
figure out better ways to do stuff.
Yeah,
because Haley does all the listing now. She does most of the shipping. Like, she won't even let me help ship. She's like, get out of here, I'm doing this by myself.
Well, we have such a small office. We're both in there. It's just a lot.
It is easier to ship alone, honestly, sometimes, just because it's so crowded in there. But yeah, legally speaking, we're both employees of Hairytornado LLC, so we both make $40,000 a year. That's like our salary. That's not how much we make in total. That's just what we get paid as W-2 employees from Hairytornado LLC. But emotionally and spiritually, Haley is in charge. Next question says, why do you not like garage sales? I think this person is asking this because we don't do a lot of garage sales.
I really like garage sales. They're like probably my favorite way to source. However, I mean, I don't know, like in Columbia, I don't know if we just have kind of terrible garage sales right now, but we'll have like 5 sales on a Saturday, and one will be 20 minutes this way and one will be 40 minutes this way. And by the time you like calculate in your drive time, I mean, you're going to like 2 or 3 sales.
It's just easier to go to the flea market.
Right. Well, you're going to 2 or 3 sales in like an hour and a half when you get your drive time.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't make sense for us, especially because you could get all the way to a sale that's 20 minutes away, and it's like baby clothes.
They would advertise like, this is the greatest garage sale ever. We've got stuff for everybody. We've got video games. We've got all this stuff. And you get there right when they open. They're like, oh, sorry, somebody came last week and actually got all that stuff. We just have like a bunch of nasty furniture and baby clothes left over.
Yeah.
So it's not that we don't like garage sales. It's just that we don't have very many, and it's a better use of our time to go to the flea market or thrift stores. Like, we just haven't had a lot of luck with garage sales typically.
Yeah, for sure.
Next question says, what about retirement and health insurance? This came from somebody who was wanting to be a full-time reseller, but he was nervous about leaving behind those benefits, which is a totally valid concern and something you should definitely be concerned about if you're trying to make the switch. Health insurance, there's not really any way around it. You just have to buy it. In the United States, it's probably the worst part about living in the United States is the health insurance. It sucks. We pay, I think it actually went down this year. I think now we pay like $680 a month.
But that's like basic coverage.
Basic coverage, like a $15,000 deductible. It sucks. We just went through healthcare.gov. A couple other people, like I know Drew, Profit Monsters, he uses like a Christian healthcare sharing thing. We may look into that later on. I don't know much about that. But yeah, we just buy our own health insurance. Same thing with retirement. You just have to go to a financial planner and just buy your own retirement. You can start a Roth IRA when you're self-employed. You can have I think it's called a self-employed pension 401k, a SEP IRA. SEP IRA, yeah. You can do a solo 401k. I'm not trying to get into the differences between all these, but we do have a Roth IRA that we maxed out last year, and we're going to max out this year. And then this year, we're going to start our 401k. I don't know if we're going to do a SEP or a solo, whatever is most appropriate. That's why we hire a financial planner, because he's going to tell us all these things. But yeah, you're basically just on your own for all that stuff when you're self-employed. Next question says, how much money do you make? And we get asked this kind of a lot, usually only in live streams, but people are just curious, I think. But we made the decision a while back not to share our intimate details of our income. Like, we talk about reselling income. Generally, we make around $5,000 per month with reselling on eBay, a little bit on Mercari and Poshmark. We haven't actually used Mercari in a while. And that alone is usually $4,500 to $5,500 pre-tax, after expenses, but pre-tax. And then we also have YouTube income, which is like most of our, probably like 85 to 90% of our income. We have sponsorships. We have affiliates. We have, I think that's it. Reselling, YouTube, AdSense, sponsorships, and affiliates.
Just like investing.
Yeah, a little bit of investing income as well. But yeah, all that makes up our total thing. Again, we don't want to get into it in detail, but it's plenty. We make plenty. Generally on YouTube, you're going to make like a penny per view. So if you guys really want to do the math, you can go look at how many total views we have and then multiply that by 1 penny, and that's how much money we've made. Generally speaking, we make enough money for us to live a very happy and joyful life. We can travel, we can do whatever we want. We can, hopefully we're going to buy a new house this year, and all that's thanks to our business. We also work really hard. It's not easy. We work a lot, probably like 40 to 50 hours a week on average, but it is well worth our time.
And speaking of sponsors, I need to take a quick second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with classes for pretty much anything your creativity could possibly desire. I've personally taken classes on video editing, YouTube studio setups, thumbnail design, and even classes outside of the business side of things, like classes about how to take care of plants and some art classes. I actually used to paint a couple years ago when I put a picture on the screen of a painting that I did that I am super proud of, but I haven't painted in a long time, so I might be taking some more art classes on Skillshare pretty soon. One of the best parts of Skillshare is that once you sign up, you can take as many classes as you want, as many times as you want. So as you grow and continue to live your life, naturally your interests may change from time to time. So whatever you're interested in at that time, there's probably a Skillshare class for it that you could learn more about that subject and get better at it. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description of the video down below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can start exploring your creativity today. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video.
This is probably one of my favorite questions. It says, what makes you different from all the other resellers on social media? And I guess this is a question.
Ooh,
I think it's pointed towards me, but you could also chime in on this. So I think there are more resellers. I know there are more resellers on social media right now than ever before, which is not a bad thing. Like, it's good that there's a lot of content out there. But if you're somebody who's just starting right now, you are competing with thousands and thousands of other resellers on YouTube and Instagram, whatever, trying to compete for the attention of a niche that really isn't that big. Like, I think we'll be able to hit 1 million subscribers one day, but if we do, that will be like a huge accomplishment because there's only so many people that are watching this type of content right now. So I think what makes us different is our personality. So we can go to the bins and find, a couple little small things and then take you guys playing disc golf, and the videos still perform well because I think people watch us for our personality and entertainment, not for the reselling side of things. Like, we give you like basic reselling advice, but it's not anything groundbreaking. Like, we're not.
Yeah, there's a lot of resellers that are way better than us.
Yeah, 100%, 1,000% for sure. But I made that decision early on to like really focus on the entertainment aspect of reselling versus just showing you guys what we buy. Because honestly, we don't find. I mean, we do fairly well, but we're not finding grails like Froggy Flips and some of these other people are constantly, day in and day out. So personality is good. I think my editing, like my video editing, is really good. I'm trying in a humble way. I spent a lot of time. I've taken Skillshare classes on editing. I've taken other YouTube courses about editing. I've spent so much time learning the process and perfecting it and trying to get better with each video. And I think that shows. I think people know that they when they see a Hairytornado video, they're gonna know and kind of relate that to it being a very well edited video. And I think another reason that has kind of differentiated me from other people is my responsiveness to our viewers. We've got just over 250,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. I've got like 30,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm probably the most responsive person. I don't respond to everybody. It's getting very, very difficult these days, but most people that have followed us in the last year or so know that I'm generally pretty good about responding to people. I mean, there's people that I look up to on YouTube in different communities and different niches that I've reached out to in the past, and they've never responded. And we've got one guy, I've messaged him 3 times on Instagram, just like wanting to like say hello, basically, and he's never responded. He's only got like 70,000 subscribers, and I'm like, come on, man. This has been over the course of like 2.5 years that I've messaged him multiple times. And his videos get like 3,000 views each. So it's not like he's like some huge celebrity that just doesn't have time for me, So I don't know. It's hard. It is very difficult to try and respond to everybody. But I think both of us taking time out of our day to take an extra hour or two, whatever, to respond to people on Instagram and respond to comments and reply to emails really makes a difference and helps us stand out from other resellers on social media. Next question says, do you actually like Clemson? This is a very interesting question.
Yes. I actually like Clemson. I am a Clemson alumni.
Mose likes Clemson, apparently. He perked up. Haley graduated from Clemson.
I graduated from Clemson in 2016.
With a degree in biochemistry.
That I'm
in
currently
3 years.
not using at all.
Currently not using. However, she's very smart. So she is a diehard Clemson fan. I'm just kind of indifferent. Like, I like Clemson because Haley likes Clemson, and Mose likes Clemson, I guess.
Mose likes Clemson.
But it's funny, because once people think that I like Clemson, we've gotten so much, like, mail in our P.O. box. Like, Clemson stuff for me, people think I'm just, like, a diehard fan. Like, I like Clemson, but I'm not, like, obsessed over it. Like, I just like football, and I want everybody to have a good time.
Okay, Joey Bada Bing.
I'm the Joey Bada Bing of collegiate football. Next question says, what are your thoughts on the longevity of reselling as a career? I don't know if you would like know this, because you've only been reselling for like eight or 9 months.
Yeah,
so I don't know if there's been a lot of changes in your lifetime of career, but I've been reselling for about 3 years, a little over 3 years. And even in that relatively short amount of time, I've still seen some pretty drastic changes. I definitely think reselling will be around forever. I mean, it's the most, archaic form of entrepreneurship.
Right, and like people forget that even like your typical department stores are technically reselling.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody.
they wholesale from somebody else and then they resell it. I mean, it's in new condition, but they resell it as well.
It's a volume game with them. So like Walmart operates like a 1% profit margin. Like their game is volume, But us, like I think reselling in general, there's always going to be something that people want. Even if the economy collapses and the governments fall and all this stuff, you can still, gather supplies and trade them for people for other things. So it'll definitely change eventually down the road. I'm not sure that the system of buying video games at garage sales and all this stuff will be around 20 or 30 years from now. But I do think reselling will be around, and I'm not concerned about it. Because when you look at any other job, like if you work at an office or a cubicle, I think you probably have a better, or I don't know, better or worse, however you want to look at it. I think you probably have a better chance of being laid off and replaced by a robot or somebody overseas, much more so than us losing our job. When I was at the insurance place I worked at, I thought I was going to work there forever because it was an established company and I had a 401k and retirement and all that stuff and a cubicle, and I went in every day and did my job, and then bam, laid off. Totally nothing. And then a couple months ago, actually everybody in that department that didn't get laid off was also laid off. The entire department was shut down. So I don't know. Reselling may not be around forever in its current form, but I think it's a much more stable form of employment than pretty much anything out there. When you're self-employed, it's pretty stable. Next question says, how do you keep records of your flea market purchases without a receipt? I get asked this question pretty much every single day. And when you buy something at a flea market or garage sale, there's not a receipt. So the IRS is not going to expect you to have a receipt. So it's up to you to create some form of documentation that substantiates that purchase. For us, we just use our business debit card and get cash out of the ATM. And when that transaction gets pulled into our bookkeeping software, we just have our bookkeeper mark that as got cash for flea market on this day, because we pretty much always spend everything we get, if we even get enough at all.
True.
Usually we run out.
We usually run out and we have to go to the ATM again.
So talk to an accountant. I've talked to Mark 2, Not Your Dad CPA, and Justin, the flipping accountant, and both of them agree that whatever you need, you could have a journal, just write it down, like, hey, I went to the garage sale, spent $50 on this stuff. It's just, don't overthink it. The IRS is not going to say, hey, you said you spent $5 on this thing at a flea market and sold it for $100. We need proof that you spent $5. That's not going to happen. They're not going to want that, unless you get into a situation where you do your taxes and you're claiming that you're spending $50,000 on cost of goods sold and you're selling all this stuff at a loss every year. That would be suspicious. But for us, if we spend $200 at a flea market and have, $2,000 in profit, that's not suspicious. That is a very normal thing for resellers, and that's not going to raise any issues in the future. So anyway, not tax advice, but you can't really have a receipt, so it's up to you to make something that you feel is good enough to give to the IRS in the event that they request it. This next question says, does the negative side of social media ever overwhelm you guys? Well, I definitely think there is a negative side to social media. Like it's not all rainbows and butterflies, for sure. There is negative, and a lot of the negative for us has been behind the scenes, not so much things that we talk about on camera. And I think that's good when you're a person who's on YouTube if somebody does something to you that's negative, it's probably best not to talk about it, because they're probably doing it just to get attention. Like, I know of a pretty big reseller on YouTube that had basically part of his like physical store that he has set up vandalized by probably people that know him from YouTube. And I was like, are you going to make a video about that? And he's like, no, that's what they want. They want me to make a video about this, so I'm not going to give them any attention. And I thought that was a super mature thing to do. To be honest, we haven't really had a lot of negative, like...
No, when I thought about negative social media, I was just thinking about how, like, people like to put on, like, a mask in social media. And usually when you're on social media, all you see is, like, a name and a picture. And a lot of people, like, hide behind that. And so they use that as a way to, I don't know, like, take out their frustrations on people that they don't know, or they have some kind of insecurity or something going on in their life. A lot of people have, you know, just, like, terrible things going on, and that's kind of, like, their outlet to, you know, push on social media and say, like, negative things to people. Because we get comments all the time about how we're, like, greedy resellers.
Scum of the earth.
Scum of the earth. And, you know, people will, like, pick apart little things that we say. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, you don't know the intentions behind what someone says. And then when somebody goes and, like, I don't know, like, calls you out on social media for saying something. I remember, like, one instance, we went to the flea market and we were talking to this Hispanic guy, and he was like talking in, like, Spanglish, so, like, every other word would be, like, Spanish and then English, and he said something like,
he knew English and Spanish,
right,
very
and he
fluently.
was joking about it, and he said, like, bueno ones, and we were both like, bueno ones, because, like, we were just laughing at him saying Spanglish.
Somebody said we were, like, mocking him or something.
Right, you know, yeah. So, like, people didn't know the intent behind that, and people are just so quick, you know, behind that mask to say something to people.
I have found that people often assume malice where there is none on social media.
Right.
So that comes with the territory, and it's part of being on YouTube. When you're putting yourself out there, you know, for people, you're basically asking for, like, people to give their opinions, even when some of their opinions are very toxic. So you can't let it affect you. Like, it's frustrating that people, like, what's wrong in your life that you have to be this mean to people that you don't even know, you know?
Yeah. But that negative side, just, like, I don't know. I'm not as good at handling it as I guess you are. But
and I will say that the negative is very small in relation to the positive. Like,
that's true.
Our channel, even the comment section, like, it's overwhelmingly positive. You guys are awesome. But occasionally there is some negative stuff. But again, you just kind of take it on the chin and move on. It's part of the business. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. No,
unfortunately not.
Next question says, how much money do you keep versus reinvesting in the business? And this is a good question, but there's not an answer I could give. Like, this is totally like a personal thing. Obviously, the more money you invest in your business, typically the more money you'll make. So, like, the more money you spend on inventory, the more stuff you'll have to sell. And as long as you list it, the more sales you'll make. So it's just about, like, finding that balance. Somebody on our Facebook group said one time that he, like, just kept reinvesting all of his money for, like, 2 years and never took any profit. And in reselling, like, generally most people that I know are operating at about a 50% profit margin. So if they have $1,000 in sales, generally they're going to have about $450, $500 or so in actual profit, pre-tax generally. So it depends on what you sell. It depends on how much you want to invest in your business. When you first start and you don't have anything, you'll have to save up for, you know, a computer and a printer and shelving units and bins and stuff. But once you get through that first initial investment, we started taking money out of the business within, like, 30 days. Like, not a ton, obviously. But again, that's something you'll have to figure out on your own. I would recommend keeping at least a certain amount of money in your business account at all times. Like, we generally have at least, like, $500 to $1,000 in our business account. Like, we never drain it less than that. And we get our W-2 checks every 2 weeks from the business. And then occasionally we'll take out, like, just an owner's draw from the business if we've got extra money we want to pull out. But again, that's not really something I can answer. That's on a personal basis.
Yeah, and definitely make sure that you always have money in your account, just so that for returns or you know, like any like small issues like that. People, like, kind of forget about that kind of stuff. Yeah,
somebody the other day said they bought something from a YouTuber and they wanted to return it, and the YouTuber said that they didn't have enough money to give them their money back because they spent their money already. I'm like, whatever. I'm not judging anybody's financial thing, but generally it's a rule of thumb, especially if you sell something expensive. I think this was, like, just over $500. Like, keep the money in the account for a little bit just to make sure there's no issues. On eBay, the return window is generally 30 days. So if you sell something for $1,000 and the buyer is questionable, but they pay, I would definitely not spend that money until that item makes it past the 30-day window.
30-day,
We sold that gauge when we were in Las Vegas. We sold it like a gauge on eBay for like $800, like $799. And I was super nervous. I didn't know anything about it. I sold it on commission for a guy at our church. And I was like, okay, let's just make sure he gets through the 30-day window before I pay you anything for the commission, because I do not want this $800 return. But luckily, everything went smoothly. They loved it. Positive feedback, no returns. But keep some money in your account for stuff like that. Next question says, are you happy? And I love that because it's simple. It's a very simple thing. And when I look at, I guess I'll answer first. When I look at my life, like every aspect, I mean, we're debt free, which is awesome. If you guys are not debt free, I would highly recommend. We have a fantastic dog. I've got a beautiful wife. We are self-employed. We have no kids. We can literally do whatever we want. I mean, it can't get much better than this. I don't see how it could get much better than this at all. What about you? Are you happy?
I mean, I'm happy. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say other than what you just said.
Yeah. Are you happier now than you were when you were working at your old job?
Oh, yes. I mean, I felt a lot more stress associated with that job, and like just in general, like, you know, rolling into Sunday nights, and you know you have to get up for work on Monday, and you're just like,
I remember I could see like your mood, like Sunday after church, it was just like slowly dropping because you were just like not only
like
were you
church
working,
is the high part and on Sunday, and then all of a sudden like the afternoon rolls by and you're just like, I have to get up at 4 a.m. tomorrow and go to a whole 5 days worth of work.
And that sucks because not only are you working Monday through Friday, but it's also taking joy out of your Sunday because you're dreading it so much.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's actually like a 6-day-a-week thing.
Yeah. I will say, like, happiness is like, I guess, based on your external, like what's happening in your life. And I don't know, I feel joy. Like I want to live my life joyful, you know, like no matter what is happening to us. If something, you know, bad happens in our business tomorrow, or, you know, like, you know, I don't know, something happens that's negative, like I'm still going to be joyful.
Absolutely. Joy is permanent. Joy is like happiness that's based on something that will not falter. For us, that's our faith in Jesus. You know, whatever, our house could burn down, you know, we could crash our car, whatever, like we could lose everything. But as long as we have something like that to find joy in that will never, ever leave, that's the definition of joy. So we're joyful because of Jesus, and we're happy because of all the other aspects of our life. Next question says, do you write off the cost of goods for an item when you buy it or when you sell it? Again, this is like a tax thing. There's two different types of accounting. There's the cash method and there's the accrual method, which I don't like that word. So I do the cash method, which is whenever we buy something to sell, I write it off at that point when we buy it. There's pros and cons to each one, but generally it's just easier for me to keep up with stuff when I buy it. And also, even if we buy something that we end up, you know, realizing later that we can't sell it, or we break it or redonate it, the write-off for that item is always going to be the same. So when I buy it, I write it off as cost of goods sold, and then I really never have to think about it again. Right, Mos? Next question says, will your channel ever be about more than just reselling? I think, I don't know if we'll ever make a full change to like something completely different.
No.
But we may get into the future of like making videos where like, hey, let's go thrifting and like make some money, and then spend the rest of the video like doing something fun. Like, you know, a couple videos ago we did a video. Can you back up just a little bit for me? Love you so much. A couple videos ago we did like disc golf at the end of the video, and honestly I was like, I don't know if people are going to watch this. Like, I don't want to have a bunch. So it was just like the last 2 minutes of the video. And most of the comments were like, I really enjoyed the last 2 minutes of your video.
And disc golf is awesome.
It is awesome. But I think that also plays into the part where, how are we different from other resellers? And there are plenty of resellers that can get in front of a camera and talk about what sold, or go thrifting, or go to the garage sale, whatever. But like being able to just be ourselves and play disc golf in our front yard and make that content that people actually enjoy for some weird reason, I think that's what makes us, you know, special. I'm not saying we're special. That's just the ability to do that and have you guys enjoy it is fun for us, because we don't have to just thrift and make all of our content about reselling. We can incorporate these non-reselling themes into our videos and still have the videos perform normally as they would. So again, I don't think we're going to leave reselling anytime soon. No plans at all. But I do want to incorporate more non-reselling things into our videos.
And we want to travel more. So.
Yeah. And that's a great thing. We could travel to any city and thrift, and then like just like do a travel vlog of that thing. And I think you guys would like that too. I don't want to say, I have an idea about thrifting somewhere very special. I don't want to say it. I don't want to teach you. I won't say anything.
Teased them.
Next question says, what office pops do you have? A lot of people ask if I collect anything, and the only thing I collect is office Funko Pops. And I have a pretty extensive collection. I'll put in a clip here of all the ones that I currently have. I think we have, I don't know, 14 or 15 or so. And I will say...
we have more than that.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't count them.
I don't know.
I will say that if you guys... Please, this is... I'm not telling you to do this, but if you want to send me something that I will truly cherish and enjoy,
oh my goodness,
I am always down to receive office Funko Pops. You know, there's some crazy expensive ones. They have ones that are actually signed by the office characters. I saw one that was like a Jim 3-hole punch. It was signed by John Krasinski, and it was like $800. So don't buy me that one. But if you can find one for like $10 that I don't have in my collection, that would be dope. Another office question. Who is your favorite office character, and what moment in the show solidified them as your favorite character?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. And I was trying to think about this to have a really good answer. My first response was going to be Nate.
Nate?
I just love Nate so much. He has so many, like, his personality. When he first came into the episode, and he was like, I don't technically have a hearing problem, but my mom says that sometimes, like, just every line he's ever said in the show is just hilarious to me. But on a much more deep level, I think my true answer will have to be Michael Scott. Because the writers of that show did such a good job of making Michael, like, super annoying. And then right before they crossed the line to make him like just a terrible character, they would have like a redeeming moment.
Yeah, that's true.
Where he would like be like, okay, he's actually not an idiot.
Yeah. Like
the best example I could be is when David Wallace was trying to buy the Michael Scott Paper Company, and Michael did the whole speech where he was like, well, you know what? You've got a meeting with the shareholders coming up, and you have to explain why your most profitable branch is bleeding. So I don't have to wait out Thunder Mifflin. I just have to wait out you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, that gives me juice bumps. Like, it was just such a good line.
Well, that's why, like, he is relatable, because if he was always cringy, like, nobody would watch. Like, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't watch The Office. Michael Scott is so cringy.
But if you actually watch it and you see those redeeming moments, he becomes such a better character.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's your answer?
Mine is so, like, typical, but mine's Dwight. Yeah. I just...
He's a great character. He's
one of my favorite lines of his is when they're doing like the Photoshop no, not the Photoshop thing, where they're doing like the employee picture day, and Dwight's asked why he's not going to smile or something. He's like, I don't smile. What is it? You can quote it better than
it was like smiling is a symbol of submission among primates. Every time I see someone smile,
I see a chimpanzee begging for its life.
That was good. That was a good Dwight line.
And he's just, I don't know. He's the best.
Yeah, he's the most Funko popped office character. I have like 6 Dwights, and that's not even scratching the surface. There's so many. Like, he's just such a good character. And it's funny because I've seen him try to play like similar characters on other shows. They had like some show that was like, he was a detective, and it was kind of like trying to be House, like, but for detectives. And it just didn't work. He's one of those people that, unfortunately for him, he's going to be known as Dwight his entire life. He's never going to be able to play another character, in my opinion. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Next question says, when will we see your Lamborghini? And I think it's coming from people that think like, oh, you're making all this money now with YouTube. Like, when are we going to see you live a lavish lifestyle? And to be honest with you guys, we don't spend a lot of money at all. Right now, I'll put a video in. Our couch in our living room is being held up by 3 books because one of the legs broke off. And instead of
we haven't fixed it.
We just put books under
We got it at Goodwill like 8 years ago for like $200.
Couch came from Goodwill. Recliner came from Goodwill. I made our coffee table. Our buffet or whatever you want to call it came from Goodwill, and I tried to refurbish it, and I never put handles on it, so it doesn't have handles on it. We're just not very like materialistic people. We do kind of want a Tesla a little bit. Well,
I don't know.
A little. Haley's always like, I don't know if I want it, but then when we see one in real life, she's like, oh, I want it so bad.
No, what I splurge on is gym equipment.
Yeah. Haley could easily spend like $20,000 on a home gym.
I could have the perfect home gym.
That's
Chef's
your
kiss.
that's definitely your thing. I like camera equipment. Like we have these new mics right now that we're using, and a lot of you guys have asked. These are the Tascam DR10Ls, like lav mics. And I got these. I was like, oh, I'm so excited to use these in videos now to like record audio. But all that's a business expense. Do you like disc golf? I bought a new disc the other day without asking.
No, you didn't.
It was $12. It should be here today. I'm so excited. But no, we're definitely not going to have a Lamborghini anytime soon. Some things are just...
We are never going to have a Lamborghini.
No.
You said anytime soon.
We're never going to have a Lamborghini. Like, there's some things that no matter how much money we have, I will never justify spending. Like, somebody asked why I didn't have a real pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses. I'm like, why would I spend $150 on Ray-Bans when I can get these on Amazon for $11.99?
Listen, he loses sunglasses more than anything else his entire life.
I've lost so many. I would never... we're going to be millionaires one day, as long as we keep investing the same we do, and if our income stays the same, like eventually we'll be millionaires. And even then, I'm never going to spend $150 on a pair of sunglasses. Ever. And I'm also never going to buy a Lamborghini. That's just too much. Maybe a Tesla. This was such a good question. This person says, now that resellers have to pay income taxes, should we all increase our prices by 30%? And that question made me laugh because, one, there isn't something that just happened to now we have to pay income taxes. You've had to pay income taxes all along, unless you were evading taxes and living a life of crime, essentially. But no, you should definitely not increase your prices by 30%. You can if you want to. And I guess if we all did it, like if every reseller on eBay did it at the same time, we could control the market. But that would never happen. So unfortunately, you just have to optimize your business practices and make sure you're finding and listing good items, and make sure the profit after fees, shipping, cost of goods, expenses, and income taxes is still worth your time. Next question says, what cut of potato is best? They're talking about the different...
Cut of potato?
Like we got home fries, we got shoestring fries, we got steak fries, we got waffle fries.
Any way to make potatoes.
I don't think I've ever had a bad potato, but I will say my favorite is probably waffle fry.
Yeah, but that's because you like Chick-fil-A's waffle fries. Like, have you had other waffle fries?
Yeah, sometimes we get the sweet potato waffle fries from the grocery store and put them in the air fryer.
That's true.
Those are good. I just like it because there's so much surface area. So much for dipping,
yeah,
you know?
But they do get cold fast.
They do get cold fast. I'm also a big fan of the hash browns, like the cubed potatoes with like the peppers and onions.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
Those are really good too. Those are really good.
Anything.
Any potato. I'm not going to judge. I'll take them all. Another question that I wasn't asked on here, but I want to answer because we get it all the time, is how does our inventory system work? You guys see us pull, this Joshua magnet. Shout out our friend Beetle who gave us Joshua and Haley car magnets.
And my name is spelled correctly.
Yeah, that's how you spell Haley's name.
I never see
Hayley.
Yeah, I never see anything with my name on it.
You didn't get one. I'm so sorry. But people see us pull like a license plate out of the O bin, and they're like, why is the license plate in the O bin? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to make sense. We use what's called the eBay custom SKU feature. It's just a section on eBay, and anything you type in that section will show up when the item sells. So when we're taking pictures and listing stuff, I'll take a picture of this and then throw it in whatever bin I want, then take a picture of that bin. And then when we list the item, I'll see that I put this in the O bin, and then I'll type O in the custom SKU field on eBay. And then when this item sells, the custom SKU thing will pop up. It'll say O, and then I'll know to go to the O bin to get the license plate. And the last question of the day says, how has you and Haley's relationship changed since you started working together?
You're just gonna drop that question on me and expect me to answer.
Go ahead, tell him how great it is. I think when we first started, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're gonna hate working together. You're gonna hate being around each other."
That's not true at all.
Yeah,
I mean we are around each other quite a lot more than we used to be.
Yeah, but not like on top of each other constantly. Like you'll be cleaning shoes in the sink, and I'll be editing a video, or I'll be making Support Your Friends merch in the garage, and you'll be shipping items. Yeah. So it's not like we're constantly on top of each other. Like when I come to help you ship, you're like, get out of here. Like we still
it just works best for our business, at least right now.
Yeah.
For me to handle most of the reselling stuff and you to handle YouTube. And that way, neither one of us are like really stepping on each other's toes or anything. We kind of have our own thing going within the business. But we have things that we can also collectively do together. Like we'll occasionally list together. We'll occasionally, like he'll sit down and show me some YouTube stuff. I'll
Thrift together.
occasionally.
We like thrifting together.
That is true. We like thrifting together. Like,
I do like listing together too. Like when we both have our standing desks and we're both listing, and we see like the listings go up because we're both listing things at the same time. So that's fun too. But we haven't, like, we just do our own thing. Like I do think if you, like, we have a really healthy marriage even going into this. So like, and that's something we thought about a lot. Like, are we really going to enjoy like working together all the time? It's not something we just did and hoped it worked out. Like we talked about it and kind of played it through in our minds how it would work out. So far so good. I think it's probably strengthened our relationship.
I guess the only thing we like are with each other so much when we're working, it's kind of hard. I don't want to say hard, but we need to put more priority of like doing things like outside of just working together. People often like forget.
We got home from church last night and you started listing.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Why are you working right now? It's like 10 o'clock at night.
So disc golf has really been cool because we can, like, after we're done working, after we go to the post office, we can go play disc golf together. Yeah. So just kind of making sure that we are not just spending all of our time together working, but actually doing stuff that we enjoy, doing stuff together, going on dates, going on dinner, whatever.
And it's tough because we both enjoy working.
Like, yeah, that's true.
Like it's hard when like you enjoy your job so much that it doesn't feel like work, so then you can kind of overwork yourself without really feeling it.
Yeah, or noticing it.
Yeah.
Like because you could easily say like, oh yeah, we're with each other all the time, so we hang out all the time, but really we're not really hanging out. We're not really like, getting closer together as a couple because you're editing videos and I'm sitting right here listing. You know.
Yeah. So overall, it's pretty good. You don't want to hurt me yet.
Don't want to hurt you.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. This is it. It was just a little Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned a little something about all three of us. Mose didn't really contribute very much.
He's just like
he's literally like
back there.
just sleeping. Yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed it, hit that like button for us down below. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below as well. Thank you guys again for watching. You're the best, and we'll catch you
on the next one.